Hey everybody in the Training for Warriors Dojo. This is part 2 in my Ask Coach Rooney series on push-ups. Now, in the first piece, I reviewed a little bit about why the push-up is important, a little history on the push-up, and some amazing record numbers in the push-ups that people have performed. Now, the push-up, as I have said, is one of my favorite exercises. I've held myself accountable for the last 7 years on doing 10,000 push-ups a year. Now that works out approximately to 200 a week. In an upper body session and a hurricane session, I'll try to get 100 repetitions in each one of those sessions, now almost as a warm-up. And man, by doing that for so long, the motion has become so not only easy for me, but by doing so many repetitions, I've learned so much about it and how to coach it. So that being said, what we're gonna show now are the common mistakes that you see in a push-up, but I'm gonna challenge you like I always challenge all the dojo members. Don't just know the information, you gotta do this stuff. So see, if you're gonna coach push-ups, you gotta do push-ups. If you're gonna coach how a push-up feels and what it feels like, it's probably optimal that you do them as well, okay? Now hey, that's the challenge I'm putting out there, because as our profession as coaches, we need to be great at this stuff too, and that's our challenge, that's what makes us great. Now, common mistakes, things that I see all the time. I'm gonna show off some common form mistakes that I see. Probably the most common is I'll see people take this wide grip, they'll get their body up in a certain position, head down, and see if you've seen this one before. They'll kind of try to bring the forehead down, nothing is much moving at all, and they're just kind of tilting their head to get there. Now, at that point, what I usually say is, if I see that position, that person is just overall too weak. They don't have the core strength, they don't have the upper body strength, and they know it, so they're not gonna let them get past what I call the point of no return, where they're gonna crash into the ground. But I'm gonna show in future videos in this series how to get past that and how to teach the proper push-up. But right now I want to show you all the common mistakes that you're gonna see. Another classic is that if somebody does have enough of the upper body strength to perform one, what sometimes happens is they get this big sag and they kind of bend, and when they come up, they're just kind of just pressing their body up. Now what happens is the push-up only really involves, according to science, estimates of about 65% of your overall body weight. So if you weighed 100 pounds, you'd really be pressing about 65 pounds when you do a push-up. Now that motion I just showed, by keeping the hips down, you're even probably reducing that weight a little more and not having to press the entire body up. So again, that would probably show you that the person isn't too strong, or they just don't have the core control or the technique, and that's stuff that you have to try to coach in there. If you coach that stuff in there, you can start to see a big difference. So those are two classic common mistakes that we're gonna see. Now, the next common mistake that I would say, and thing that I don't really recommend in Training for Warriors or in my system, is people will come to me and they'll say, well, if I can't do a push-up, should I do a kneeling push-up? Should I do it from the knees? And after trying to do push-ups from the knees forever, to even see how to coach it and what to do, I just find it's uncomfortable for most of the students I work with. They can't get in a good position, so when they try to come down, it's like they're just kind of like pressing their butt up and moving. Like, I just can't see how that's the right step to a push-up. So what I want to show in future videos is we're going to first show the proper form of a push-up, but then if those can't be done, what we're going to show is, hey, how to progress to eventually get a push-up. Because that's the whole goal. Hey, get 1, then get 3, then get 5, and then all of a sudden you start to see that during assessment tests, you've got people that could never do 1 that are banging out 20 or 30, and their life has changed. So the push-up can be an exercise for you to do that. So right there, I showed a couple common mistakes, right? The first one, those arms folding out to the side, the head coming down. The second one, the core just being completely weak. And when you see those two mistakes, it usually shows overall body strength isn't there, or they don't have the right technique. And that's what we're gonna be addressing in future videos. And what I would say too is, but I'm not gonna address it with the going from the knees position. We don't wanna start there. That's probably not the best place, and I don't see that as really jump starting somebody to get closer to doing a real push-up. So that is part 2 in our series, and we're gonna keep building here. This is gonna be a great series where I'm gonna show you the depth that goes into a push-up, and in the next video, what we're gonna cover is the form I like to utilize, proper form with a couple specific techniques that can get anybody doing the push-up the right way right off the bat. So, this is Coach Rooney in the Ask Coach Rooney section, and we're gonna keep bringing you more videos in this push-up series in the Training for Warriors Dojo.